I find myself checking in my camera lately for little things that I've received in comments lately. Like, I've had a couple people make a really big deal about my stupid peace necklace. I don't know why they're making a big deal out of it. I don't have a belief in the sign. It's just a necklace that I happen to wear sometimes. So I just caught myself seeing it and sticking it in my shirt so nobody can see it. It's not funny. Checking the wall, seeing if there's anything unprofessional, checking myself, am I not brushing my hair because that's going to offend some people. It's been really great to have this growth in our channel. It's made me a little jumpy. Even some of my more, what's the word? Faithful watchers have been critical about some things lately. And so you just can't win them all. So, but I do find it interesting that as I come on to do my video, I start to like double check. What did I forget this time? What did I not get? What is somebody going to be offended about? Today is Favorite Book Friday, and again, I'm trying to set up some regular topics throughout the week so that if I haven't come up with something that I feel is more creative and more spontaneous, at least I have a video up that day, and it will still be informative. It will still be how I feel about things. It just will be more by rote rather than by inspiration. So, if you haven't read this book yet, Sepp Holzer's Permaculture, if I could get it not to glint, Sepp Holzer's Permaculture. If you want to improve your land and find good ideas for creating a habitat, not necessarily a habitat for wild animals, but a habitat for yourself and for your family on your land, this is the book to get. The reason that I have a deep mulch pig rototilled pumpkin patch in the front of my property is because of Sepp Holzer. He talks about how to work smarter, not harder, and how to let the land and the animals and the plants do your work for you. He has pictures of his Mangalitsa pigs and his shelters that he creates for his pigs in hillsides, and what kinds of breeds he likes to pick for his animals. He likes Muscovy ducks. I like Muscovy ducks. And mostly it's just about using what is on your property and what's around you and the plants that are happy in your location for your growing. He has sections that talk about how to graft things, how to grow things from seed, how to cultivate mushrooms, exactly how to cut the logs and how to get them to be started from the spawn. I'm sorry about the reflection, I can't help it. I love his pictures, and the way that Sepp Holzer makes his livelihood is that originally he was in Austria on this barren mountain that had been clear cut and then had one kind of tree on it and not a lot of vegetation variety, and how he took over from there and learned lessons from playing in the dirt as a kid to turn this mountain into this just amazing, regenerative, beautiful landscape that feeds people. And he has people that come through and pay for tours of his farm, and he makes money that way. But now he writes books and does tours telling people what his process is, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I have learned from him. Burying wood, which is called Culture, is something that he really likes to push, and I have combined his method with kind of the Back to Eden and the Ruth Stout methods in my backyard. I don't have any wood buried back there, but I have deep mulch, and in other places on my property, like where I had the pigs rototill, they made some really deep holes, and so instead of just filling that with mulch, I filled it with small logs, and then put mulch over that, and it's been really successful. The spot where I just did wood chips doesn't have enough fertilizer to be able to grow really huge, robust plants. They're kind of a little bit straggly there. But in the spot where I kept the pigs, that I had them rototill that, and then most of what has actually come up there was actually planted by the pigs because I fed the pigs pumpkins in that space. So it's all about tying your ends together and letting one part of your ecosystem support another part of your ecosystem so that they all tie back together, so that you're using as little income to keep things going as possible. There was one part of this that I really wanted to show you. He does have a regular annual garden, and I think that's important to remember because a lot of times in permaculture people talk about like throwing seeds under a tree and waiting for them to come up and go to seed and that you'll have a perennial patch there. But the truth is that if you were really serious about feeding your family, you need to find some kind of intensive annual garden that you take care of if you want to be able to feed them in a small space all year round. And he does talk a little bit about his garden and how he does that. Let's see, what else was there? There was something else that I thought was just amazing. He talks about how to make money using his form of permaculture and how to have gardens in the city. And I just find it thrilling to look at this. And he's not talking about just being a hippie and going back to the land and starving to death for the sake of the environment. He really is talking about making money and conserving your time and making the most of your space. And I'll try and find where it was that he talked about this, about designing your property to make the most out of it and to be able to make money. Like here is his version of a compost pile on this picture. Between two hills, he puts his compost in there and then he plants his garden along the sides of that if he was going to do composting. And that's kind of what Ruth Stout did. She threw all her fruits and vegetable peelings and everything out in the garden underneath the mulch and let it mulch where she already had her garden planted so that she wasn't having to haul things. I'm looking for a particular picture and I'm not seeing it, so I may need to stop the camera and find it later. What it is it's he likes to use berms. Instead of just having windbreaks, he likes to have earthworks that are like 6 feet tall at least, where he'll put down the wood and then he'll put down dirt on top of it to create these artificial berms that are actually hugelkultures that you plant things in. And he believes in contouring the land so that you capture as much water as you can and allow it to move to where you want it to be for your ease and for the benefit of the land. This is one of his pictures. And in our area, if I had it to do over again where we have our windbreak, I would put in some pretty hefty berms around our property to keep the wind off, because the trees, here's the picture that I wanted. It shows how the berms kind of wander through the property, creating windbreaks and microclimates, so that depending on what kind of plant you're growing, you always have a microclimate that will be happy. One that's drier, one that's wetter, one that's higher, one that's lower, that kind of thing. And so again, Sepp Holzer, S-E-P-P, and then Holzer, H-O-L-Z-E-R, Holzer. And again, rather than just taking my word for it, see if your library already has it. That's how I read this from the library a long time. But actually, I think this is from the library. I don't think I actually own it yet. Yeah, this one's a library copy. Another good kind of thinking out of the box kind of author is Joel Salatin. I also like Gaia's Garden. Trying to think, Toby Hemingway, I think, is who wrote Gaia's Garden. And it's not Gaia's Garden, it's Gaia's Garden 2, the second edition. Those are all very good, and I hope that you will enjoy this reading and let me know what you think of the book.